Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Hope everybody's doing okay. Today's Thursday, so coming up on Friday and then the weekend, so it's great. Weather was cold here, but sunny, so it was really nice. And I went and had my CAT scan done today, and so now I got blue dye in me. They told me, drink plenty of water to wash it out. It's like, oh, okay. Cause a problem to find a problem, right? So anyway, I had that done. Didn't take long, but it took forever to wait because they said, get here at, my appointment was at 3:30, get here 15 minutes before. So I did. I got there actually at 3, and I sat there and waited and waited. It was like 3:20. Then they said, okay, come on in. They had to put a catheter in my arm so they can put the blue dye in later. And after that, I waited almost a half an hour. It was like 4 o'clock. And they wanted me there at 3:30. So I was like, Jesus Christ. So anyway, once they got me in there, it was done and over with in like 15 minutes. Okay, no big thing. Because they only wanted to scan from the waist up because they're looking at my chest and my lungs, and so no big thing. And so now I've been nuked and I'll be glowing in the dark for a couple of days. Anyway, something else to kind of giggle about here. As I've been reporting here for the last few days, the buyer remorse growing each day as goes by, and right now the picks that Trump is appointing for different positions in his cabinet are causing some strife with MAGA supporters or MAGA voters, and there is some concern about the legitimacy of some of these fucking people that he's picking here. And so there's a video here about that I want you to watch, and then we'll talk about that when it's done. So video's like 10 minutes. So let's go to the video here, and I'll catch you on the other side.
It has been just over a week, and Donald Trump's new administration has already erupted into chaos, and it has not even begun yet. Now, as every day passes, more and more Trump voters are beginning to panic as they feel firsthand the consequences of their votes. It appears these voters had some sort of collective amnesia over these past few years, and now they are shocked to see that every day with Donald Trump is filled with complete and utter pandemonium. I hate to say it, but this is what you voted for. My name is Brett Meiselas with the MeidasTouch Network. Make sure to hit subscribe and help us get to 3.5 million subscribers. Yesterday, we saw Trump announce the nominations of people to his administration, like Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence. He nominated Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. He's put Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in charge of a fake government agency called the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, which is named after a cryptocurrency meme coin. That's right, 2 people to run a rogue agency supposedly about efficiency. And that's all after Trump nominated a Fox News host, not making this up, Peter Hegseth, to run the Pentagon as the Secretary of Defense. As Democratic media strategist Vince Monroy writes, watching some Republicans react in utter disbelief to the current shit show is truly astounding. This is what you wanted. So, let's take a look at some of those reactions. The conservative subreddit was immediately appalled by the news that Trump had nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Here are some of the comments. Quote, "What? Sorry, but this is bad, like embarrassingly bad." Somebody else said, quote, "Yeah, this is literally the worst pick I could have possibly thought of." Another person said, quote, "His worst pick yet, in my opinion. Not a fan of Matt. He is a lapdog and a hardliner. I agree that this is a bad tap. If the goal is just to piss off the liberals, it's a win. If the goal is to have a great AG that everyone can trust, then it is a total failure." Yes, governing by owning the libs is not what a president does. And there's more. Another Trumper on Reddit wrote, quote, "Madness and stupidity." One said, quote, "Yeah, this one seems pretty off, man. I don't get this one. So many other better choices." One user who describes themselves as a millennial conservative wrote, quote, "This should receive as much criticism as the Thune pick for different reasons. This is his worst pick so far." And another Trump voter wrote, "I guess Trump got tired of winning." One user in the Ask Conservatives subreddit wrote, "Matt Gaetz as AG, what are your thoughts? I am honestly disappointed with Matt Gaetz being chosen as Attorney General. As a minority voter who supported the candidate in good faith, believing in a commitment to meritocracy, this choice feels unexpected and unsettling. He does not seem qualified for the role. Many MAGA supporters may not fully understand the backlash we have faced, our lives disrupted, families strained, friendships lost because of our support. This has been the most disappointing decisions so far. Fool me once, etc." How do you not understand that this is who Donald Trump is? You think he believes in meritocracy? It's all about loyalty. That's what Donald Trump is all about, loyalty and corruption. Meghan McCain, the late John McCain's daughter, wrote in response to the Matt Gaetz news, "This is such an effing joke." And let me put this all in perspective for you. I'll sum it up like this. We've now learned, thanks to reporting from Punchbowl News, that Matt Gaetz resigned from Congress yesterday to accept Trump's nomination as AG, just 2 days before the House Ethics Committee was set to vote on releasing a, quote, "highly damaging report outlining its investigation into him." So, Donald Trump used his supposed mandate after winning not to lower grocery prices or to help the middle class, but to help Matt Gaetz avoid consequences for his alleged sex trafficking crimes by giving him a position running the Department of Justice that investigates those crimes. That is the epitome of corruption. You know what else is the epitome of corruption? Giving a billionaire, Elon Musk, control of a rogue agency designed to fire federal employees and end government programs. And now it appears even some Trump voters are sounding the alarm about this move. First, let me show you a clip of Musk last night at Mar-a-Lago raising his hand to identify himself as, quote, "the George Soros of the right." I thought Soros was supposed to be a bad guy. Watch this.
And many of us have long said, where is the George Soros of the right? Where do we find the billionaire who will never give up on the great promise of America? And in walks Elon Musk. So God bless you, Elon, and we're so, so grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, on to the show.
And here's what Trump voters on the conservative subreddit are saying about Musk's new involvement in the Trump administration. One user writes, quote, "As much as I support Trump, I don't think appointing a billionaire to deal with what average people need with money is the best idea. Though I may be wrong, I am still unsure about this." You voted for Donald Trump. You voted for a billionaire to try to help you. What am I missing here? Another says, quote, "There are some obvious conflicts of interest as well. He owns a car company. Will he suggest that cuts be made to things like Amtrak or other transit programs that may eat into his customer base?" One Trump voter notes, "Legit, this guy has a vested interest in making gas much more expensive." Another said, "Oh man, who would have guessed Trump would have picked a sleazy businessman to run the government? I'm so dang surprised. Did not see this coming at all. Who'da thunk? Anyway, I'm sure we'll all get better." That person obviously being sarcastic. And another Trump voter wrote, quote, "It smells of letting the fox in the henhouse." Y'all are so close to figuring this out. So close, yet so far. And it keeps going. Here are Trump voters' comments about Fox host Peter Hegseth being nominated for Secretary of Defense. Somebody wrote, quote, "No way this is true. I absolutely refuse to believe this. On what grounds is this guy the Secretary of Defense? Absolutely inexcusable. Inexcusable picks for DHS and Secretary of Defense. I need to hear him justify these picks and why he picked those two people." Another person wrote, "WTF, seriously? A Fox Morning TV show host for the head of the Department of Defense? You're telling me he couldn't find a more qualified person who would be just as loyal? We sure this isn't from the satire site Babylon Bee?" Another Trump voter wrote, "This sounds so fishy. Getting someone out of a news organization? Seriously?" Yeah, seriously. That's what you voted for. What are you missing here? That's exactly what you voted for. This Trump voter says about the appointment of Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, quote, "Guys, Trump sold y'all out. Marco Rubio is the Cuban Lindsey Graham, a warmonger and neocon through and through." And then he says receipts below, and he does an entire thread about Marco Rubio. These Trump voters are worried about the cuts that are likely coming to services that they rely upon. One Trump voter writes, quote, "I'm a conservative, but also a significantly disabled veteran. Some of the proposals I've seen would definitely have a negative impact on my care. We'll see." Another says, quote, "I don't like the cuts to regulations. I'm a railroader, and the sound of them cutting our rules that keep us safe and our workforce that keep people working makes me nervous." Somebody responded to him saying, "So you decided to vote for someone who is pro-deregulation? Make it make sense." And while all of this chaos is going on, the corporate media always finds a way to prove that they wanted this, that they wanted Trump to win. NBC News' Chuck Todd wrote, quote, "These confirmation hearings may just save cable TV for the short term," end quote. Listen, corporate media, this is not about your ratings. People's lives are on the line. And you realize Trump is trying to bypass the confirmation process altogether. So I'm sorry your ratings are way down, but stop selling out the American people to try to get them back up. I'm sick of this. Sick of it. Going back, it is just crazy to me that it is going to take chaos and pain in order for a fraction of these Trump voters to realize that Trump never cared about them in the first place. Here is a black Trump voter responding to an ABC story about Trump's cabinet picks, who have all been white, by the way. He replied, quote, "Bro, we voted for you. Hire some of us," facepalm emoji. This uncommitted Michigan delegate on CNN is now begging President Biden to do something about Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu before Trump and Mike Huckabee complete a, quote, "ethnic cleansing campaign of the West Bank and southern Lebanon." Watch this.
It looks like ethnic cleansing. It sounds like ethnic cleansing. It's an ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza and West Bank and southern Lebanon. And Mike Huckabee was just named as the guy who's going to oversee the final stages of that campaign. And so our message right now is to President Biden, you've got to do something about this. President Biden, stand up for once to Netanyahu before Donald Trump successfully gets away with pinning this legacy of this ethnic cleansing campaign on you and you alone forevermore.
Listen, I see that he is still pinning this on President Biden. Let me say this. Elections are a binary choice. In this election, we had a candidate who was calling for a ceasefire and a two-state solution and to bring the hostages home, but was dealing with the complexities of those issues. And on the other hand, we had a candidate who wanted to let Israel, quote, "finish the job" and turn Gaza into beachfront property. You protested the first candidate. I hate to say it, but this is going to be in Trump's hands now. That's how elections work. I hate that, but that's true. That's how this works. Here's another story from CBS News. The headline reads, quote, "South Florida immigrants fear mass deportations amid Trump's return to office." As a reminder, a majority of Florida Latinos voted for Trump, and now they are terrified that they or their family members are going to be deported. Here's what the article says, quote, Immigrants across South Florida are expressing growing anxiety over possible mass deportations, a campaign promise by President-elect Donald Trump. Quote, "I've been living with anxiety. I'm scared and stressed about what's going to happen to me," a Nicaraguan woman who is so frightened that she only identifies herself as Maria told CBS News Miami. She represents the voice of many people who came to the U.S., applied for political asylum, and received a work permit. But now she says future government officials are demonizing immigrants without understanding why they are in the U.S. This whole thing is so incredibly tragic to me. It really is. And all of this was avoidable. All of this was avoidable. But there are going to be people who think this won't happen to them until it does, and that's the truth. Listen, I'm not sharing any of this to gloat or to put blame on any particular group or to kick anybody when they're down, but I think it's important that we highlight the consequences of these decisions. These elections are not a game. These people are going to be in control of our lives, of your life. So next time, if we're lucky enough to have a next time, when people tell you who they are, when people show you who they are, please believe them. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any stories like these, please go ahead and share them in the comments. I gotta say, I am so grateful for all your support. Remember to add the MeidasTouch podcast on audio. Go and check out MeidasPlus.com, by the way, for exclusive stories and ad-free content, and get the premium MeidasTouch experience over there. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3.5 million subscribers. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.
Unlike the other guy, I am going to report on this to gloat, because I'll tell you, MAGA would do no different to us if we had won or something and things happened that we didn't like. So yes, I am going to gloat. We told you so. We told you so. I told you so. They told you so. Everybody told you so, but you ignored us because we're Democrats. We don't know nothing. Okay, well, we knew something, didn't we? We knew about Trump. We knew Trump better than you did. You guys thought your orange Jesus was your savior and everything, okay, because you were more interested in getting the win. But once you got it, then you decided to fact check the son of a bitch, and then you found out, oh my God, what did we vote for? And he hasn't even taken the oath of office yet, okay? Like he really needs it, because he's going to break that oath anyway on day one. But the fact is, he hasn't even started yet, okay? But MAGA's smart enough to see trouble on the horizon right now. It's very obvious to them now that they made a mistake. And like I said, we told you so. This is the guy you wanted. This is the guy you fought for and you said we needed to have. Well, you got him. You got him. Okay? This is your guy. And what he does is what you want. That's what you wanted. Or so you thought, Well, and right now, you're going to be looking to the Democrats to try to do something about that. Well, we can't. Not really. Because, you guys control both houses and the Supreme Court. So you set it up so now any opposition to him is going to be very difficult to stop, to stand in his way. You made it that way. You let this guy rig everything. So that way, by the time he got in there as president, he's almost an untouchable now. So he played the game. He told us a month in advance that he had enough votes to win this thing. He didn't need your vote. Remember when he said that? Yeah, I remember. It makes me wonder, what did he know about that he says, I got enough votes to win this, and he won. When everyone was saying he ain't going to win, he's not going to. I was saying he ain't going to win. But he fucking knew, weeks before the election, that he had enough votes to win. And then it was after that he started acting like an idiot. Not acting like it. He was starting to be really nasty with things he would say out in public. Like he didn't care anymore because he figured I can win now and nothing I say is going to change anything. What did he fucking know? What did that mean? Okay, people are starting to wonder now, is that a little bit of evidence to show that maybe he knew something was going on behind the scenes to guarantee his victory? And does that mean there was a possibility that, there was some kind of tampering going on? Until we find evidence to back up that theory, we're not really going to know. And so like I said, when he said that, I think that was sort of like a, he threw that at us like, I don't care if they know because they can't stop me now. you know? So here he is now, president-elect, and he's picking people like Matt Gaetz and, that guy from the Fox News as Secretary of Defense, and, all these weird off-the-wall characters that, really aren't nobody's darlings, And even MAGA's questioning what, how effective are these fucking people going to be? I mean, the guy from Fox is a veteran as far as I know. I don't know. I mean, it's just, I didn't think he was, but, I heard somewhere that he's a veteran. So, does that mean he's qualified to be Secretary of Defense? I don't know. But the fact that he was on Fox News in the morning show and stuff, and he was on that despicable station with their propaganda, makes me question. I mean, did he pick him because he figured he'd be kissing Trump's ring? Probably. Maybe he talked to this guy and figured this guy would be a good sellout to the country. So much for being a veteran, if that's the case. As far as I'm concerned, if he is a veteran and he's working for Trump now, he's a piece of shit. He's a classic, and of course, he ain't the only veteran. There's a lot of veterans out there that want to side with Trump, okay? All I can say is, in their defense, maybe some of them, shell-shocked, maybe, they stepped on an IED, maybe their marbles ain't all there, it could be. Some of these people, after they come back from war, are really all messed up. So, I guess we can excuse some of them for that, but, this guy here, if he had a job on Fox, then he can't be that messed up. I mean, to be able to do that job where he's disseminating lies, the fact that he does it for pay means he's got a price tag for his loyalty. All right, so Trump would buy him up, and put him in a position that I don't see he's going to be able to handle. In fact, Donald Trump might turn around and fire him after, because any of these people that got jobs or think they got jobs now could easily lose them depending on the mood Trump is in. If they catch him in a bad mood, they could be fired that day. And so you're going to have a whole bunch of new people who are going to come out against Trump later on, saying, the guy, you can't work with him. He's a fucking asshole. The same thing all these other people before him were saying about this guy. They're going to have to go through all that shit again with Trump to figure out, to see him as he really is. And, and now the fact that, Palestinians are scared that Trump is going to support Netanyahu to go ahead and carpet bomb the rest of the damn area, to ethnic cleanse, I guess that's what they're saying. Hey, they had a chance to put a stop to this with Joe Biden, coming to the table with them, to between Netanyahu and whoever is running Hamas. They could have done something if they'd, if either side was interested, in a ceasefire or something. But nobody got the impression that either side wanted to stop this thing. Okay, and now that the possibility may be that they'll never get that chance, scares them now. Because that's 4 years that we're going to have this, Trump in office, and that's 4 years of hell that they're going to have to live with, because the United States might turn around and support Netanyahu to go ahead and do what you want with those people. It may be the end, It might just be, this might spell the end of that, and so these people who voted for Trump, okay, that were, Palestinian or whatever, now they're going to be looking at that happening in their homeland or whatever, happening to them. So like I said, people, before the next 2 years, before we get to the midterms, Trump is going to have pissed off so many people in this country. I don't see how that's going to help anybody that's going to be running for seats, as incumbents or whatever, to come back. Because if anybody gets endorsed by him, it's going to be the curse of death. If Trump says, I endorse this guy, or hey, nobody's going to care about your endorsement, Trump. They're going to run from you. Stay the hell away from me. You're just danger. You turn everything to shit. So if these Republicans are hoping to win their seats in the midterms again, they better do it without Trump's endorsement, because without that, I mean, with that, they're going to lose. And I'm telling you, in 2 years, you're going to see a big attitude change about Trump again. That's like what happened the first time. We didn't learn well enough the first time. Even after 1 million people died under his watch, we didn't learn enough the first time about what he, you know, how he failed this country. You know, our economy was practically in free fall by the time Joe Biden got in there, okay? And by some miracle, he managed to, you know, enact policies that saved us from actually crashing and burning, okay? Because people were predicting a depression, you know, coming, and they, you know, people just said anybody but Trump. Anybody but Trump. That's what they were saying. And so we got Biden. And he did a good job, you know. If we'd have got, you know, somebody lesser, you know, we might not have come out of it, you know. But Biden was the perfect counterbalance to the 4 years we had with Trump. So who's going to counterbalance the next 4 years after Trump? You know, that's the question. Is it going to be Kamala again? Okay, I think, you know, it could be. You know, I wouldn't count her out. She might decide to run again. Who else? You know, I can't imagine the Republican Party is going to be in any shape to be able to, you know, run one of their own for the presidency after Trump ruins everything. They might want to just sit it out and wait, you know, another 4 years after that before they try again. So, because I mean, what Trump is about to do to MAGA and the what's left of the GOP is going to be brutal. I mean, it's going to be brutal to them, because their name, their image, anybody walking around with a red hat on, after a while, they're going to, you know, they are not going to be welcomed anywhere. You know, you better take those bumper stickers off your vehicles. You better burn those hats you got, because if, you know, people see that now, they're going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed. You know, it's not fun and games anymore. You guys, you know, you thought you were the cock of the walk here, you know, but those days are coming to an end now, and it begins on January 20th. Okay, that's when it begins. So you know, like I said, you're going to see a lot of fucking, you know, you're going to see a lot of shit between now and, you know, the end of this presidency. I mean, he's already sitting here talking about a possibility of running for a third term. You know, on my dead body, is that going to happen? Okay, this country is not going to endorse him for another run for president if he lives long enough to see, you know, himself even capable of doing it. You know, his health is declining, his mental capacity is declining. And a lot of people are already saying that he's really not going to be running the country as president. He's going to have everybody else that he's been appointing around him to do it for him, which means we're going to be probably in worse shape than if Trump himself was well enough to be able to run the presidency. It's going to be worse because of the jackasses he's been picking. Okay, and I'll tell you, you know, it's really going to be bad. It's going to be bad, you know. And, you know, I got something I got to tell you about what happened today. I was getting some groceries, and outside in the parking lot, and I couldn't believe this woman was outside doing this, because it was kind of cold. But there was a lady outside, and she had tables around her in the parking lot, collecting donations for a food pantry here in town. And, you know, I felt, you know, I should try, you know, and do something. So I went and I bought a little bit of food, and, you know, in cans and stuff like that. And when I came out, I put it there, and she's like, thank you. I said, yeah. I said, you know, in the next 4 years, a lot of people are going to need these pantries. You know what she did? She gave me the food back. She said, thanks anyway. I knew what that meant. She was a MAGA supporter. She was a Trump supporter, okay? And I insulted her. And, I don't know, she was an older woman, probably in her early 60s or something. But, you know, she took offense to that. And I was like, son of a bitch. Politics over fucking people. She gave me back the food that I donated to her. okay? You know, because I insulted her about what Trump is going to do to this country in the next 4 years. No, she didn't. I don't know what to do with that. You know, should I call, I don't even know what pantry, because we got 3 or 4 of them here in Bangor. So I don't even know which one she was representing here, that or all of them, I don't know. But I just don't, you know, I can't understand some of these people. You know, they talk about Christian values and family values, you know, and, you know, we protect life and all this shit. And here you got a person, a representation or a member of that supposed cult, and she gives back the food that I donated to her because I said that in 4 years, the next 4 years, people are going to need these pantries a lot, you know. I don't know, people. Let's go to a commercial break.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you. Original.
Holy fuck.
Were you just checking out her ass?
No, I wasn't.
You know what? Fuck this.
Wait, babe, calm down. Oh my god. Mary! I am sorry!
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
When you drive to Wendy's and order a single, you get more beef than the Whopper or the Big Mac. At Wendy's, you never have to ask, where's the beef?
How stupid are the people of Iowa? How stupid are the people of the country? We have people that are stupid. There's something wrong with them. And there's something wrong with her, too. She's slow, low IQ. She's a low IQ individual. Low IQ individuals. Well, you know, you think they're stupid, and they are really pretty dumb. Stupid. She didn't know where the hell she was going. Does she drink? Is she on drugs? Some of the dumbest people I've ever met in my life. A terrible, stupid person. And he stupidly, because he's a stupid guy too, he's a stupid son of a bitch. We have a guy who's a dumb son of a bitch.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals. Root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
But do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah, there has to be some form.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. Now, we're a failing country. We are a failing nation. We are a nation in decline. We are a nation in decline. We are a failed nation. The American dream is dead.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back. Okay, here's a little good news here. Alex Jones, okay, remember that big mouth there that was talking about Sandy Hook and how, you know, that was all a hoax and everything, you know, trying to do what Trump did? Well, his InfoWars media company has been sold to The Onion in an auction. And that purchase was sanctioned by the family members of Sandy Hook, the victims, the families of the victims of Sandy Hook. And the sale was, you know, part of the liquidation of his assets to pay off the verdicts. There aren't any violins playing for this fucking guy, okay? But here's the kicker. Ben Collins, the chief executive of The Onion's parent company, Global Tetradon, said the new InfoWars will be a parody of itself, mocking weird internet personalities like Jones. So they're going to keep the show, but it's going to change. Instead, it's going to become a comedy, you know, of itself. And I can't think of a better way to rub salt in the wound here to that fucking asshole Alex. Okay, so yes, that it helps to brighten our moods here as we suffer the fallout from our election, that some of the people out there who helped Trump along to become president again are going to pay dearly for that. And so I'm like, good, fucking good. I hope this means something enough for the, you know, those families, that they got something. I got victory, I guess. You know, yeah, I realize it's a Pyrrhic victory, but, you know, at least they got back at the guy who, even in the end, you know, his apologies and stuff that everyone took as empty, even then, he wasn't really sad at all about the things that he said. And that tells you that he's a guy with a mental problem that, you know, it just prevents him from being able to be sympathetic or, you know, empathetic of other people's plight, okay? He was so focused on himself and himself getting out his bullshit message and trying to garner attention and fans and all that, that anybody's feelings that he stepped on along the way meant nothing to him. So now, taking away his toy, InfoWars, hopefully that means something to him. Maybe, you know, maybe he'll learn something about what it means to slander people and and make up false things, because, you know, you can't go through life like that and not have it catch up to you. You know, we'll find out in the days coming what the hell Alex does, if he tries to start up another fucking bullshit propaganda machine or not, but, you know, we'll see. But anyway, that happened, and so I'm glad to see that, you know, something has been done about that bullshit. All right, so let me see, what is this here from NBC News? Article here from Peter Nicholas, hitting government with a blowtorch. Trump's cabinet picks are the first step in carrying out his agenda. As he wages his winning campaign, Donald Trump described the Justice Department as a hotbed of partisan prosecutors who had, quote, unquote, weaponized law enforcement and the military as a fighting force that had forsaken its mission in favor of political decorum. A Trump presidency would fix all that, he pledged, and with his choices to lead the Defense and Justice Departments, along with other agencies, he has shown he meant just what he said. Since his decisive victory last week, not a landslide victory, just a decisive victory, because the people at Fox have been saying he won by a landslide. No, he didn't win by a landslide. Trump has trapped trusted allies to carry out the priorities that align with what he promised voters. If he wins Senate confirmation, Matt Gaetz will become the next Attorney General, with power to end the Justice Department's traditional independence from the White House and ensure that it is a reliable tool of Trump's political interests. People have forgotten about the background of Matt Gaetz. You should look it up if you don't remember. It's pretty colorful. And he's going to be Attorney General. It's like putting a fox in the henhouse. Quote, President Trump is going to hit the Justice Department with a blowtorch. And Matt Gaetz is that torch, unquote, said Steve Bannon, the man who just recently come out of prison. Trump's former White House strategist told NBC News. Gaetz submitted his resignation from the House on Wednesday. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to have one less ally there in the fucking House with her. And Pete Hedges, a former Fox News personality, Trump would have it aside a defense secretary who may be called upon to purge the armed forces of the sorts of generals Trump has deemed anathema to America's military superiority. Former Representative Tulsi Gabbard, who was a Democrat in Congress, but has left the party and has been tapped to be the director of national intelligence, despite limited experience in that area. Trump picked a hardline former immigration official, Tom Homan, to be his border czar, and South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, who once gave him a model of Mount Rushmore that included his face, for Homeland Security Secretary. Oh, that's all it took was to stroke his ego, huh? If they are confirmed, both would be crucial to his plan to evict undocumented immigrants on an unprecedented scale. Trump's transition team announced a rolling series of cabinet picks this week as he moves swiftly to set up an administration and capitalize on the electoral victory that has given him the popular mandate he didn't enjoy when he won in 2016. One difference this time is that he's elevating people he largely knows and likes, as opposed to strangers boasting impressive credentials and resumes. In his first term, he nominated a retired four-star General James Mattis for Defense Secretary. Mattis had commanded troops in wartime and was considered a blend of soldier and scholar with a library of thousands of books. As Homeland Security Chief, Trump at the time chose John Kelly, another retired four-star general whose son was killed fighting in Afghanistan. Trump broke with both these men, ousting Mattis and parting ways with Kelly after having brought him into the White House to be his chief of staff. At the time, both Mattis and Kelly were seen as, quote, adults in the room, unquote, who would guide a new president who'd never held public office. That model didn't suit Trump, and he's plainly abandoning it as he shapes his new presidency. The Getz and Hegseth announcements in particular drew backlash. Neither has run anything as complex and consequential as the department they'll be leading. Hegseth was deployed in Afghanistan and Iraq and served the National Guard for more than 19 years. A Trump transition official said Hegseth is, quote, perhaps unorthodox to inside the Beltway types, but exactly the kind of young, talented new thinker that can execute for Donald Trump with lessons the president learned from his first term, unquote. Still, in filling jobs with such vast responsibility, experience counts. Others said, quote, you need two things, competence and character. You need people who have deep, large organizational experience, ideally with the public sector. We're not seeing that with these picks, unquote, said Max Stier, chief executive of the Partnership for Public Service, a nonprofit group devoted to improving government effectiveness. Getz has been investigated over allegations of sex trafficking of a 17-year-old girl. The federal probe didn't result in criminal charges, and he has long denied wrongdoing. A Justice Department official called the Getz announcement truly stunning. Another labeled it insane. At this point, Trump has shown no signs of backing down. He won a clear-cut victory over Democrat Kamala Harris. His party will control both the House and the Senate and Congress. Congress' habit is to give presidents latitude in choosing their own terms. And their own teams, rather, sorry. In this instance, a fight might be in the offing. Trump will need united support from Senate Republicans. He may not get it. Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican from Alaska, said she didn't think Getz was, quote, a serious nomination for the Attorney General, unquote. Senator Kevin Cramer, Republican from North Dakota, said he was, quote, a long shot, unquote. From bitter experience, Trump knows that he needs an attorney general he can trust implicitly, and it might be worth the political capital to battle for Getz's confirmation. Little happened in Trump's first term that angered him as much as Attorney General Jeff Sessions, his decision to rescue himself and appoint a special counsel to investigate whether there were links between his 2016 campaign and Russia. Quote, this is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked, said Trump, according to a report filed by the special counsel Robert Mueller. He went on to fire Sessions, and he later feuded with another appointee, William Barr, who angered him by saying the 2020 election wasn't stolen as Trump had falsely claimed. In Getz, Trump would get an attorney general who has said Trump won the election that year, as well as an ironclad iconoclast who shares his willingness to upset the status quo. Quote, I don't care if it takes every second of our time and every ounce of our energy, unquote, Getz said at a conference of conservative activists last year. Quote, we either get this government back on our side or we defund and get rid of it. Abolish the FBI, CDC, ATF, DOJ, every last one of them if they do not come to heel, unquote. Asked about the likelihood of Getz's making it through Senate confirmation, a source close to Trump told NBC News, quote, the American people made clear that they want President Trump to remake Washington, and Representative Getz is the perfect man to restore the DOJ to greatness. Quote, senators will hear from their voters who support the congressman, unquote. And that's that. So much for, the party of family values and Christianity and all that. All these people he's picking here are people at the lowest end of the spectrum. People others wouldn't have picked. He's picking them only because they'll kiss his ring. The people he picked in the first time he was president, mostly, there was people he didn't know, but, went ahead and picked them anyway because of their resumes. But this time, he's going a whole different direction. He's just picking people who are going to pledge their loyalty to him, and, I can see that, even in that plan of attack, he's going to probably have to get rid of some people that he's picked already because, Senate Republicans, some of them they don't like some of these people, okay, and they might put pressure on Trump to get rid of them. I don't know. It all depends on how brave the what's left of the GOP is going to be against MAGA, and is MAGA going to be there as strong as they were when he was running for president, because they're going to be facing realizations that they didn't think were going to happen to them because they didn't do the homework they were supposed to do during the campaign to find out what Trump was really going to do. And they should have been listening to the concerns of the Democrats who were saying he's not saying anything. He gets up on these stages and he was just rambling endlessly over bullshit for 2-3 hours, not giving an agenda, just basically, shitting all over the country. And that was his fucking, that was his plan, was just to, demonize the country and just at the end say, I'm the answer to your problems. Well, that's not a plan. Kamala had plans. She was laying out an agenda, what she was going to do. Trump didn't. All right? Trump didn't. But the things that he did reveal, like the tariffs and all that, and the Project 2025 thing that got out, those things scared the living shit out of Democrats, and it was of no surprise that he wasn't going to win any Democrats, at least we thought, to vote for him. But exit polling showed that some Democrats just didn't vote at all, and that's inexcusable. We needed to show up in record numbers. We tried to tell people this election was important. It was a historic point in American history, and it still will be, because instead of it going into a brighter future, the country's going to turn and go into a darker future. Okay, so it'll still be a pivotal point in American history. It just won't be a good one. That's what I was trying to tell people in other videos, but I guess maybe a lot of people didn't see it that way. Because for years, they're always being asked, this election's important, this election is important, and people keep voting. But people always expect that this election's going to be the last election we'll ever need, and we're always going to have it good after that. No. I said, like in the previous video, there's no such thing as a perfect election. Okay, what we want and what we should do is, because we can't get a perfect person to run for president, we have to evaluate that person's character and that person's plans. And in this case, they didn't look at the other side. They just stuck with Trump no matter what he said, and they didn't bother to take a look at the other resume. Okay, if they were running companies, these people would have went bankrupt already, because they didn't choose the people who could do the job better. Instead, they went with their feelings, and how Trump made them feel, and they decided this is the guy we need. Well, look, this guy you just hired, he's going to take you to the cleaners, and then he's going to be the one sitting in your fucking chair. Okay? This is who you picked. So, like I said, people have a lot to learn in this country. It ain't just the young people, but the adults too, the older people. Okay? They got a lot to learn. After all the years, of watching politics, and maybe not getting that involved with it, the results of that is showing now. We're seeing the stupidity in this country taking root here, and it's scary. It really is scary. I mean, we shouldn't just go to sleep, like this and say, okay, fuck it. No, we need to knuckle down. We need to have the Democrats need internet supremacy. We need to get the message out a whole lot better than we did last time. Just for those people who won't listen, it has to be put in their face. Okay, we have to make sure that message gets out and people see it. Because it's inexcusable to come out the day after the election and then start asking people, what did Trump mean by this? What did Trump mean by that? You voted for the guy. You should have known that already. How I've never seen, people like that get caught in their own shit as they've been getting caught here. the picks that he's been making, again, he's pissing off the people that supported him and voted for him. You know, just in that, and just in the last week alone, he might have lost. If we'd have had our election now, he probably would lose, because people are wanting to change their vote, would not vote for Trump now. Okay, he might lose he might lose that 20 million lead he had. Okay, so like I said, you know, it's crazy that you know, we got this problem now, and we can't really do anything about it as Democrats. You know, they'll try, they'll do everything they can legally. Try to, you know, use the courts as far as it'll go, you know, to slow things down, or, you know, to stop him from doing stuff. And hopefully the military has enough sane leaders in it in order to resist when Trump tries to give them something to do that they know is against the Constitution. They're going to have to make a stand against him. And maybe if we can put enough pressure on Trump himself, his administration and all that, maybe we can do to him like what happened with Nixon. Maybe he'll just fucking resign. I don't know. I mean, it's just, but then who would take his place? But Dingbat there, Dingbat Vance. It's really, you know, it's really sad in a way that, you know, just getting back what we lost, our democracy, is going to take time, a lot of time. It's easy to lose something, you know, which is, I was warning people about that too on here. You know, it's easier to destroy than it is to create. It's also easy to lose something than it is to get it back. And right now, women out there are going to be the brunt, really the front line to the result of this election. I feel bad for the deaths that are to come because of this shit, because had we not put Trump back in there, we may not be looking at a possible implementation of a fucking national abortion ban, which I don't know how the governors would take that in these individual states. You know, the red states will absorb it, you know, wholeheartedly, but will the blue states absorb it? I mean, I don't know. And if they don't, what does that mean? I mean, we're walking in territories that we haven't walked in before, never seen things like this happen. I mean, everything he does is going to be considered a constitutional crisis now, because he wants to do things his way, like a dictator. He doesn't want a discussion. He doesn't want to vote. He doesn't want anything but his final word on everything, and that's law. Okay? And since the Supreme Court is going to back his ass and saying, well, president can do whatever he wants as long as it's considered as part of his duties. You know, well, he can say that about anything that he does. You know, it was my duty. You know, it was an official act, part of my job. You can make that excuse for anything. You know, it's a bad excuse. So, anyway, I guess that's it for today. You know, I realize, you know, a lot of things I'm going to be talking about here at this point are going to be pretty grim, and I don't blame anybody for not wanting to listen to it if you don't want to, because I'm just trying to put facts out there, okay? Not trying to sugarcoat anything, not trying to take away from anything. I'm just putting it out there, because, like I said, if we had more Democrats doing what I'm doing or something like that, trying to get information out there, maybe it would have made a difference, you know, because the Republicans certainly think it's valuable to have so much of the internet under their thumb. You know, maybe the Democrats need to start turning the tables on that. You know, it's certainly time to play catch up with the machine that the Republicans use to gain support. The minority party shouldn't have this much clout in our country, but they do, and they've spent a lot of money getting it that way. And so the Democrats, you need to wake up and you need to start understanding that, you know, whatever they're doing, we need to match it, and then some. We need internet supremacy. All right, so that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week and upcoming weekend. So subscribe, comment, and share. Keep your ears open for any health issues. And please treat each other well and stay hopeful, even in dark times. We need that for our emotional security, as well as for the people around us who look to us for that hope. So take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.